Good morning, FBC family. It's time for Take 5. These past couple of weeks, we've been studying chapter 2 of the book of Philippians and just focusing on the issues of dealing with people in our lives and understanding that they can steal our joy or they can give us great joy as we put on the mind of Jesus Christ. We ended our Take 5 last week contemplating the fact that Jesus was so selfless. And there's really 4 attributes about Jesus' mind that we need to put on. One is his selflessness. The second is the fact that he served. The third is his sacrifice. And the final one is that he did all this for the glory of God. Today we want to focus on this idea of service. Let me read Philippians chapter 2, verse 7. In Philippians chapter 2, verse 7, it says this, "But the Lord made himself of no reputation, taking the form of a bondservant, and coming in the likeness of men." And as we stop and we contemplate that thought about the Lord Jesus Christ, it says he made himself of no reputation. He was the living God, yet he chose to step down from heaven, to limit the independent use of all of his attributes of deity, and take on human flesh and to serve. And as we look at the Gospels, we see Jesus serve in so many ways. And what a difference it was. And I think about the disciples and how they were so challenged by that. I want to just take us to the book of Mark chapter 10. And as we see Jesus there in Mark chapter 10, he speaks to his disciples who have a completely different perspective. And as the disciples came to Jesus, they asked him for a request and they said, "Lord, would you just give us this one thing?" And he said, "What is it?" And they said, "That we might sit at your right hand as you rule." And the Lord had to change their perspective to teach them that it was all about serving others, not about being on the throne and reigning over them. And he actually said this, he says, "Whoever desires to be first shall be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and even to give his life as a ransom for many." So we think about the disciples, they're just like us. We want it easy. We want to find ways to just make our life as easy and as painless and as simple as possible. But Jesus here gives us a different way. In fact, he continued that training as Jesus made his way to the cross. And in chapters 13 to 17 of the book of John, as Jesus prepared the disciples for his ultimate departure, in John chapter 13, the Lord even shared with them again as he sat down and they thought as they were going to eat together, the first thing that the Lord Jesus did was to gird himself with a towel and to individually wash each of the disciples' feet, displaying that ultimate sense of humility and a desire to serve others as an example for the disciples as they move forward. And as I stop and I think about all those things, I recognize that that's not my mind. And I so much need that mind of the Lord Jesus Christ, that mind of selflessness and that mind of service. And I wrestle with those things each and every day as you do as well. So I want to challenge you this morning as we think about this in our Take 5, that you would, instead of trying to find a way to make things easy and better for you, find the way that in your giftedness that God has given you, with the heart that God has given you, to serve others. To spend that time to invest yourself, to pour yourself into their lives, and not to find the joy in your own personal satisfaction about what you got or how well things are for you, but to find that joy that you poured yourself into others. And that pouring and that servanthood that you displayed will rub off on them. And it will not only impact their life, but it'll impact others as they go out and model the Lord Jesus Christ, because you showed them how. I close with this final thought, and I think about this often. Many of the things in life are easily much more caught than they are taught. And just stop and think, for an example, as you model the servanthood of the Lord Jesus Christ to others, how others can see just what that looks like and get a real sense of the appreciation of the impact and how that models the Lord Jesus Christ. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow on Take 5.